What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord link for that's in the description box down below.
You know, Fan Friday, we took a night off, but now it's the Saturday special here, and we do the shout-outs the same we do on the Fridays, but we, got a lot to discuss here over a 2-day span of our Cowboys news, info, and lots of updates to discuss. One that just went down, and it's not even on the screen here, guys, not even in the title, of Michael Gallup. So we'll get to that and so much more. But first, as we open this up on another Cowboys chat here on MCF, it's kind of late here, but there's always an After Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Which you want to definitely check that out if you guys, likes to have some fun. It might not be a very long stream tonight over there after this one, but we'll have one nonetheless with a special guest or two. So on all those sides, I appreciate everybody involved, and I have to say that because we got some of the leaders here. We're going to announce some of the winners here, which are all relative to not just this channel, but our other channel, the After Dark sessions there. So, baby, before we get rolling into the news, info, and updates on our Cowboys, why don't we do the shout-outs on the people that rep the boards right now?
Of course, an extra special shout-out to the man showing the love, McLovin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. He's been representing as the sponsor of the week for 3 weeks in a row, and of course is your Cash App King for 4 weeks in a row.
The domination there. He is the man right now, the man, McLovin. And he's, that's mainly, I think 90% of it is on the After Dark the channel stuff. So much love to him. Appreciate him and his support. And I'm just going to give you a little clue here. He is also currently the leader on the Cash App. So he's going for 5 in a row for Mr. McLovin. We also got Jeremy Bramlett, the Bram Man, who's got 93 points on the Stream Boss. He had a big day the other day. We were chilling here on Wednesday. And as you can look right above that, he's currently the overall leader on the board, even over McLovin, believe it or not. In first place, Jeremy Bramlett. In second place, McLovin. So that 3-week streak, sponsor of the week, is in danger. Jeremy Bramlett can't take that over. But, of course, McLovin still got the inside track once again, jumping over Jeremy Bramlett because he did drop a little bit of love from above when it came to the After Dark sessions. McLovin, Skeptical Fan, also dropping 6 in the PayPal side. Harley Dad, he's on that board. He dropped 20. We got SCO971 as well, dropping a bunch. He's also moving up the board. One of the top players here on our top 4-5 list here. Jason Renfro also up there with a little $3 holler. I was post-stream. We also got Traveling Fools back in the Navy Blue crew when it comes to the membership side of things. Also pre-stream, right before the stream, Mr. Dwayne Broussard. Much love to him. And Calvin Richard back in the Navy Blue crew as well. Just big shout-outs to everybody across the board. Can't do this without your love and support. I want to make sure I shouted everybody out, as well as Skeptical Fan. An extra shout-out because he is the current gifting champion. 2 weeks in a row, back-to-back, trying to go for a 3-peat. He was in the lead until Jeremy Bramlett gifted 10. That's our record. We never had nobody gift 10 memberships at once. He did it. So he took over the overall board. He had taken over the Cash App board for a little bit till McLovin jumped him. And he took over the Stream Boss and the gifting board. So that's the man. Jeremy Bramlett leading 3 out of the 4 on these boards here, except for the overall board. Except for the Cash App board, which is currently led by McLovin. So we'll see what happens as our final 2 days go down here on MCF. Today, the weekend streams here, the Saturday, and of course tomorrow, Sunday, wrapping it up and crowning some champions.
And with an extra special guest. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay, yes, well, on the After Darks. But now, I do want to also, I think I shouted everybody out pre-stream and all that stuff, and all the love from the After Dark side, or on other channels. I was on Mosh's, I was on LC's. You guys dropped the love in there, we partied there. So that's the After Dark session as well. It counts over here. Now, that's the shout-outs across the board. There's a lot of ways to drop the love here. If you drop the super chats, you saw Dwayne Broussard with the pre-stream. You have gifting memberships, which of course you can do once you're in the you got to be in the membership to be able to gift members, other family, subscribers in the chat would get memberships if you're in the membership and you want to gift it. So that's one way of doing that. There's also jumping in the membership, like Traveling Fools, Calvin Richard, and then there's the thanks button, the super thanks, where you can do that on any video, whether it's live or you can't do it on live streams. You can only do it on videos that are posted already or gone live. There's 4 other ways you can challenge not just the overall board, but McLovin and that crown, the Cash App King. There's 4 ways you get on that board. How do you do that, baby?
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family. You have the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link. And, of course, last but not least, That Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Just for example, the leader, the king right now, 4 weeks in a row, maybe for 5. McLovin, he's all his love is through the PayPal. That counts in the Cash App side of things. That's why we do that. Now, since it is a Saturday, it is a big shout out day for those that rep in that silver. And, of course, the top shelf level memberships, the star and over everything. But, hey, every Friday or Saturday, we do a shout-out to the silver level members as well. So, baby, without further ado, why don't you do that for me?
Thank you very much to Prince Jackson, Mr. A. Lavelle. Of course, can't forget about Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. The Man, the Lunatic. Marissa Sparkle. Andy Potched. Jason Renfro. And LC. Thank you so much.
And that's it. We shout out the silver.
I was trying to give him a little
and the star, yeah. But then we got the over everything.
I was getting to it because I'm trying to give him a little more pomp and circumstance here because the man's Mr. Seabass over everything. He's gonna be flexing one of those perks very, 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 very soon. Here, can't wait to hear what he has to say about our Dallas Cowboys. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Seabass. Can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah. We're gonna definitely hear from.
We've got a lot to discuss.
Oh yeah, and again, on top of that, the shout outs and all that stuff. I also want to say our monthly raffle, jersey raffle, is it's kind of still the same star level and over everything level. You get in there, you get a chance to win one of these sewn and stitched authentic like jerseys, the Cowboy Mosh style. A lot of different choices to pick from, new school, old school styles, all that stuff. But this now is going to add a little twist to this because if you are the winner of the sponsor of the week, maybe even we're still thinking about a couple of the other winners of the weeks, right? But definitely sponsor of the week, we'll get an extra raffle entry for this drawing at the end of the month of March. So let's just say, for example, Jeremy Bramlett wins as the sponsor of the week. He will be added into this raffle, and let's say McLovin wins the next 3 weeks. He'll have 3 entries in this same star level over everything raffle. So again, of course, just to get in it, star level over everything. But if you are, the overall winner on some of these boards, you will be also, into this membership raffle. So monthly raffle. Appreciate you all for being involved in this, and can't do this without you all. And again, just wanted to say big shout out to Jeremy Bramlett, the overall leader. And currently the leader on the Cash App, McLovin. Of course, he's the king and the leader for 3 weeks and 4 weeks on the above board. So extra shout out to everybody on that side of things. Now we did our intro, we did our shout outs, we did the commercials. Let's do the shout outs to the people who are in the house right now.
An extra special shout out to Mr. Seabass here in the house representing himself, and I appreciate that again. We always do look for our familiar faces here in the chat. We are nothing without y'all here. So Rolando Rodriguez, all the way from South Texas. Raul, representing. Stephen White, what's up? Asmodeus, much love. Mike Aldana, salute to you and yours. Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett. The man, A. Lavelle, what's up? Hope you and your family are doing well as well. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, who, by the way, he did have a pre-stream
What
drop.
did he say? I didn't get to see what he said.
You can't be surprised. You know what he said.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
You know it.
Thank you so much, Dwayne Broussard, flexing that $4 Dak drop. Always appreciate you. See, kind of lost my place here for a second. It's okay. Asmodeus, much love. Let me see. I think I shouted you out, Thomas Gary. Yes, I did. Okay, perfect. Now I'm back. Manuel Trillo, hello and hi. What's up? We have Napoleon Bonaparte in the house.
In the flesh.
Yeah. Risen from the dead. Daniel Berry Sports, what's up? OG Lokes to 09. And yes, we'll definitely be talking about Gallup. Seeing as how the news broke not too long before we planned on kicking off our stream.
An hour ago,
Freedom first. Looks like you were first tonight once more. Good for you, man. So, let me see. Marco Seppi, you know him. He's always around when he's able to be.
He's only in Hawaii, but he'll be on and off.
I think a lot of us are still maybe a little disappointed from our loss. Yeah.
So anyways, let's get it rolling, baby. Because we have 2 days of news, info, and updates. And one of those updates are that, today there was Stevie Nicks was there on stage at AT&T Stadium. And Billy Joel joined her on stage for Stop Dragging My Heart Around during the concert. It was at AT&T Stadium, but he was wearing Dallas Cowboys hat. Hell yeah, Billy Joel rocking that.
At least you know a football team he enjoys.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He's a Jersey guy, so I don't know if he's truly a Cowboys fan, but being in Jerry's world, probably a good chance that, Jerry Jones gave him that hat and said, go up on that stage for me when you do that song. So, just want to throw that out there for a little, kickoff kind of light news here for our Cowboys. By the way, kicking off the Cash App drops tonight. It's Jason, not Jeremy Bramlett. It's the man Jason Brenfro dropping a $5.76 holler, trying to see if he could put a dent in the Cash App.
Woo.
It's a battle up there.
Flexing it there. Thank you, Jason.
He's currently in third on that board, I will say. So there is always a possibility. The 576 from the man Jason Renfro. Thank you. Appreciate the drops there. Go Cowboys.
Always. So, and yes, this morning, so, we all like Billy Joel around these parts. And by the way, Seabass said, what happened with Gallup? If y'all say they extended him, I might throw my phone.
Oh, no, don't worry. We'll get to him in a minute. Don't worry. He's coming to you in a minute.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't that. It's
after that, I think if that were the case, we probably would have had to start the stream with a lot of curse words. Which, if you guys didn't know, one of the reasons that we do our intro the way we do, it's not just to kind of let people roll into the chat, right? It's not just to kind of let people know what we're up to. It's also because YouTube likes to play these cute little rules with live streams, and that allows us to freely be able to say anything we might need or want to say, once we're usually through with our intro and our shout-outs and things like that. Yeah. So it's just something that we've gotten into the habit of doing here in all our years of MCFing.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Jason Renfro, with that drop, he just passed Skeptical Fan into fourth place on the top 5 board. Skeptical in 5th, Jason in 4th, SCO 971, just a little in front of Jason, McLovin in 2nd, and Jeremy Bramlett in 1st. So I just want to give the updates there as well. So, yes, let me keep it moving, baby.
Yeah,
I know we talked about Billy Joel, and then we're going to talk about some stuff going around the NFL first. We'll get to the Cowboys and Michael Gallup in a minute. But the Chiefs, 5-time Pro Bowler defensive tackle Chris Jones. I know how you guys wanted him. I said don't even start dreaming because it ain't happening. Today, it definitely is not happening because the Chiefs signed him officially and reached an agreement on a 5-year deal that includes $95 million guaranteed and allows Kansas City to keep their best defensive player, interior defensive player. They're probably the best defensive player on their team. Before free agency begins, the deal is expected to be the highest average salary ever given to an NFL defensive tackle. So, again, do you really think the Cowboys would have went after him? The answer is no. Hails to the no.
Highly doubtful.
Unfortunately, yeah. So, we got, getting caught up. Again, NFL catching up here. Before he went to Pittsburgh yesterday, Russell Wilson stopped in New Jersey, for what one source described as a, quote, exploratory meeting with the New York Giants. So, again, will we see Russell Wilson with the Giants? They didn't like Daniel Jones too much. They say they're out on him.
We know his wife really likes New York.
Yeah, well, we also know that we've heard the Giants saying, behind the scenes, Daniel Jones, they're out on him, whatever that means. So who knows? But it was an exploratory meeting. That's all we know. Now, he is in Pittsburgh. I think he went yesterday. He did land in Pittsburgh, met with the Steelers, and nothing yet done there. The Steelers, let me go to them. They released wide receiver Allen Robinson, wide receiver for them, clearing over $10 million in cap space. So everyone's cutting guys and making room for for their cap side of things. So the Steelers also released 8-time Pro Bowl cornerback Patrick Peterson, who again is a shell of what he used to be. But they're saving money on his release as well. Let's go to the Patriots. The Patriots, right now, they are open to trading quarterback Mac Jones. And there's supposedly a lot of teams been calling them and saying, basically doing some exploratory work on him. And with a new coaching staff, a fresh start, probably is best for Mac Jones and the Patriots. Patriots also signed tight end Hunter Henry, agreeing on terms to a 3-year deal worth $27 million base and a max value of up to $30 million on that 3-year deal. So Hunter Henry stays there for about $10 million a year at most in New England. The Ravens, they signed one of their, again, we talked about some of these guys. Chris Jones, he was tagged. So was Justin Matabuki. He's Ravens, their franchise tag defensive tackle, signing to a 4-year deal, $98 million. I love this guy for the Cowboys. He's almost $25 million a year. He ain't coming to the Cowboys. So, again, he's with the Ravens officially. It's a $98 million 4-year deal that includes $75.5 million in total guarantees, $53.5 million at signing. Huge amounts of money for defensive tackles getting thrown around there. We don't need these guys. I don't think we don't have the money for these guys. We wanted them. Now, this is all AFC movement here. The Broncos and the Browns today. This might piss off some people, but the Broncos and the Browns agreed to a deal that's sending wide receiver Jerry Jeudy to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for 2 draft picks. The 2 draft picks, this year's 2024 5th rounder and this year's 2024 6th rounder.
That's a very reasonable deal.
Yeah, to get Jerry Jeudy. Now, the Broncos and the Browns have agreed on the trade, but it cannot be processed officially until March 13th, which is when the new league year begins.
Okay.
But now, listen to this, though. The Browns are getting Jerry Jeudy. He's joining Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore as the newest Browns, wide receiver, right? So here's the thing that's crazy. The Browns have now traded for Amari Cooper. They traded for a 5th-round pick away for Amari Cooper. In a pick swap in the 6th, I think. We went up like 10 spots, the Cowboys, when we traded him. And then they traded for Jerry Jeudy for a 5th and a 6th. These are their starting receivers here. So basically they get Amari Cooper, right? 4 Pro Bowls, 5 1,000-yard seasons, 40 touchdowns in his career. Amari Cooper was even less expensive than Jerry Jeudy.
Goddamn.
Jerry Jeudy has no Pro Bowls, no 1,000-yard seasons. He has 11 touchdowns in his career. So, I mean, the Cowboys... Jerry Jeudy might be a good deal, 5th and the 6th, but we
still technically got a better deal.
We got ripped off for Amari Cooper trade. I mean, we gave, again, for Amari Cooper's numbers and what he gives you, we gave him up for a 5th, and they only gave up an extra 6th for Jerry Jeudy hadn't done nothing. The Cowboys, again, the clown show, fucking up again. That's just the way it is. I know the other factors, we were announcing him to be gone. That didn't help the whole contract negotiation thing.
I admit that at the time it was a good deal.
Like, I never
just
thought
saying,
that.
like in hindsight, Okay.
You mean when we made the deal? When we made the actual deal and traded Amari?
I mean, yeah.
Rounder? Oh boy, yeah, I disagree because I remember, and I wish I could bring it up.
I mean, it's fine.
I knew we were getting rid of him, so that's why I would take the 5th rounder. But the point is,
again, at the time we didn't know that, and the Cowboys also were not
we knew that.
They traded him with the intention of keeping him here. I think the injury situation, and obviously his other factors ended up kind of tipping their hand. I know he wasn't like one of their guys or their receivers, but. I don't know. Even our front office doesn't just make moves willy-nilly.
I'm going to give you my thoughts.
He had a decent connection with Dak.
I'm going to give you my thoughts, baby. I disagree 1,000%.
Okay.
I think you forgot about that season. That last year, Amari was here. This clown show, Stephen Jones, they gave him like 3 targets a game that last year. They wanted him out because they wanted CeeDee Lamb to be number 1. Because that's their guy, is CeeDee Lamb. They fucking pushed him out the door. And then everyone knew, kind of like this year, with Michael Gallup. You'll see what I'm talking about. But they pushed Amari Cooper out the door for a 5th-round pick, baby.
Okay.
That wasn't worth it. I don't give a fuck what's going on. And the Cowboys, they made a bad move. They had him already. Everybody knew they were going to release Amari. That's the other issue. Like, that's just bad management.
In that particular instance, yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Eventually, moving on from Amari Cooper the way we did it was an absolute clusterfuck.
That's
because,
my
we ended
point.
up getting jack shit.
So, we got ripped with a 5th rounder, and I don't care what we got for the 5th rounder. I think we traded it for Brandon Cooks. But my point is that I don't care what we got for him or not. The point is that we have mismanagement here. While the Browns, they're managing fantastically, getting Amari Cooper. They got Jerry Jeudy for 2 low, day 3 picks. I know they got to pay the money there if they want to keep Jerry Jeudy. He's on his contract year or whatever it may be. But, they got some receiving threats now over there with Deshaun Watson, which could maybe mess it up. But here's the thing. With all the reason the Broncos did this was because now with multiple transactions, contract restructures, and trades within the last 5 days or so for the Broncos, they have cleared almost $50 million in cap space while adding 2 draft picks. Again, 5th and 6th rounder, but nonetheless, 2 draft picks entering, for this year, entering the league year. That's the way they're almost in a rebuild state. But we're in a retard state when it comes to this shit, when it comes to the Joneses, the clown show that we do here, giving guys away, announcing we're going to cut guys, and then, we're going to, here's this crazy, baby. We wanted to cut Amari Cooper. Mm-hmm. And we said this. I think the Cowboys said that it was like the sources were going to releasing Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Then you hear the Cowboys were looking for a trade for Amari Cooper. And then we traded him to the Browns for a 5th rounder. That I don't know. We could have gotten a 4th or a 3rd possibly. I know the injuries played a part. I know his lack of production played a part. But hey, there's a lot of people out there looking, and we gave him away. So that's the management issue I see with our side. Because Judy, there's other reasons why he hasn't done much. But my goodness, when it comes to the Amari Cooper side, we know what he's done for our team. And it was a Stephen Jones trade, yet he'd rather just get rid of him for a bargain basement price because they announced they're going to cut him anyways. That's the problem with the clown show. So, let me talk about I guess I could talk about Michael Gallup. I don't know. It kind of ties into this when it comes to Amari Cooper. But I did have another guy in front still to kind of discuss here. But I guess it could be time for a Michael Gallup discussion because we know the situation, baby. Again, was it the writing not on the wall, whether it's the contract saying it or the front office basically hinting towards it? I mean, we know the Cowboys are going to get themselves away from Michael Gallup. We knew this was coming. We knew this was just a matter of time. And, it's still not even official yet. But nonetheless, I don't have Michael Gallup on here. I can't believe that. But, we knew it was going to happen. It's a matter of time. But in the end, it's today we basically got confirmation that the Cowboys are getting rid of Michael Gallup, which is not a surprise. Let me just say this. The Cowboys are giving wide receiver Michael Gallup a permission right now to seek a trade. Now, everybody and their mother, if you follow anything about the Cowboys, know that Michael Gallup is going to give us about $9.5 million on the cap if we release him after having 2 back-to-back consecutive seasons with nothing from him, whether it's because he bounced back from the torn ACL and was having a rough, start into his ACL, comeback year, or this year where he was our third receiver and still couldn't get separation. That is the problem. Now, the clown show gave him $13 million a year average. I think it was $11.5, $12 million a year average. So we are stuck with this guy for a couple years, right? And now is our first chance to get out of this contract. We even restructured his contract last year, and it's going to bite us a little bit more in the ass. But here's what it comes down to, guys. The Cowboys, they're giving Michael Gallup permission to seek trade with another team.
Yeah.
If Gallup is on the Cowboys roster on March 17th, 5 days after the league year, then $4 million of his $8.5 million base salary for this season will become guaranteed. So there's no way in hell the Cowboys are. Every team and their mother knows the Cowboys are not keeping Michael Gallup past March 17th. That is that. So again, the Cowboys now announced we want to trade the guy. I wonder who's going to want to trade for him, right? Teams have been very reluctant to make a deal for Gallup for a number of reasons, but the main reason is this is what the league is saying. They know he's going to be released. That's it. The clown show the clown show showed their hand and said, "Let me raise." After showing the hand in poker, they say, "Okay, now I'm going to raise," and they got nothing. So keeping Gallup on the roster for 2024 would carry a total hit on the cap of $13.8 million. Almost $14 million for Michael Gallup to stay on this team.
Way too much.
And then you go to 2025 and 2026, $15.8 million on those 2 seasons. An extra $2 million each year on top of the 13.8. So keeping Gallup on the roster this year is going to hurt us for $13.8 million. Next year it's going to kill us at $15.8, and then in 2026 another $15.8 million. If the Cowboys do designate Michael Gallup as a post-June 1st cut, which they should be doing, the Cowboys will then get back $9.5 million in cap savings, which is the answer. That's what the Cowboys are. That's why they're giving him a chance to be traded. We get a 7th round pick. So if somebody doesn't want to fight for him in free agency, that's what a team may do. That's the best we're going to probably get from Michael Gallup. Unless there's 2 or 3 teams that don't want to fight for him in free agency, we might get a 6th. But let's be real, we ain't getting anything.
Yeah, different circumstances, but a similar scenario to the Amari Cooper situation where, man, we could not have blasted it from the rooftops anymore that we were moving on from Michael Gallup. So who in their right mind would want to trade for Michael Gallup?
Exactly. It makes no sense. So right there, when you see that this is the way that if anybody looks at the Cowboy, salary cap situation, and any other team will look at this and say, why would we trade for this guy and his contract? We can just wait for him to get cut and pick him up for cheap. So
exactly. So I don't know. It feels like in that regard, we definitely shot ourselves a little bit in the foot there. But let's be real. With his contract, with everything that, the way that it broke down, I mean, if us as fans just sitting here looking at our cap can say, man, The Cowboys are probably going to move on from Michael Gallup. You think other teams aren't considering the same thing anyway, regardless of whatever we do or don't say? Although, again, like I said, we didn't make any secrets about it either.
I mean, everybody knew that he was going to be gone.
Look, I hope, I guess, for his sake, on a personal level, I hope he is able to find a landing spot, because it's certainly not going to be here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, there he is. There he is. There's Michael Gallup sneaking through. So, Michael Gallup, guys, just so you know, and I agree with you. I mean, this is not it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out the fact that Michael Gallup was going to be cut this year. We all knew this was going to happen.
And I agree, Seabass. You know, telling him to go seek a trade is basically just them giving him the chance to find a new home.
On his own, like to find a place he wants to go, and then gives the Cowboys little advantage. Why?
Exactly.
Because
otherwise he'll be a post-June 1st cut, as we all more or less expected.
And we will not get that. So what's the deal? I mean, as far as that, like I said, if we do that, designate post-June 1st cut, the Cowboys get $9.5 million on June 1st.
Yeah.
So that is, just think of it like this, guys. That is to pay the rookies. That is to make a later move somewhere down the line. So just take that money that you're going to get from Gallup. That's for the future. That's going to be something but we can spend the money now. We don't have to save the money for rookies. This is the rookie money. Mm-hmm. We don't have to save the money for a move or two in June or July. This is the money for that. So anybody that tells you, we need money for the rookies, just say, shut the fuck up. That's what Michael Gallup is being cut for. So, again, that will be easy to kind of get back, even though it's not going to show on the cap right now. So, again, $9.5 million back in cap savings. If there's no trade reached for Gallup, which there will not be, I don't believe there will be a trade. The Cowboys, if they release them, of course, before March 17th, which has to be what they would do, it will allow them to seek a new place of employment. Last year, what did Gallup do for us? 34 catches, 34 receptions for a career low 418 yards for the whole year.
Yeah, disappointing as shit.
2 touchdowns as well, career low. He was surpassed on the depth chart by, obviously, Brandon Cooks, who we traded for. And we still have Brandon Cooks this year, at least for now. He could be cut, and we get $8 million for Cooks. But without Gallup, the Cowboys would look at, after CeeDee Lamb and after Brandon Cooks, you got Jalen Tolbert, the former rookie bust. Last year, much better. This year, entering his 3rd year. Jalen Brooks entering his 2nd year, rookie last year in the 7th round. Cowboys have Cavante Turpin, of course, in the mix there. And I think they will draft somebody as well. So we got other guys stepping up, but Tolbert will lead the pack as that number 3 spot, or a rookie if we draft them, pick them up high enough. Brandon J. in the house. Brandon J. 2024 with that $2 holler.
Brandon.
What do you say?
He said Dorrance Armstrong signs with Bills. Signed with Bills.
Is that official?
I mean, I hadn't heard any news about it, I have to be honest, but let me double check that. I'm guessing that it's more that he wants him to sign with the Bills, maybe?
I don't know. But either way, much love, Brandon. Appreciate you. And, he's slowly moving up the board as well on here. So, much love on that side of things. I think technically he jumps over Dwayne Broussard.
Let me see. I'm not seeing any news about it overall.
So I don't think it's a news.
So yeah, I think he just wants him to sign with the Bills. So,
but I do know that Dorrance Armstrong is talking to the Commanders. And yeah, Dan Quinn. That's a place to look. I think Seattle also may be an option. So I'm just throwing out some names. You never know, right? Either way, we'll see what happens with that. As soon as we know if Armstrong goes somewhere, he can't sign anywhere until either we release him or after March 13th. So just let you know.
There you
go. I should have caught that. Also, I want to shout out the man Jason Renfro once again. You know why?
Woo, why?
He dropped 5 on it.
Thank you, Jason.
In the Cash App. He said, try to put a dent in the Cash App. And you slowly but surely are. That is truth. So much love once again, Mr. Jason Renfro. And he is also slowly trying to catch SCO 971 there. I think, 3rd place on the board right now. So he's still going up the board. We'll see what happens. Now, that's the Gallup stuff on my side. I don't know if you had anything to add to that, maybe, when it comes to Michael Gallup. We have a lot of other depth guys. I don't know if Tolbert, I can trust him yet as a starting number 3. A rookie could be very important for that spot there if we draft him in the 3rd round, a rookie receiver.
Yeah, I think
him and Tolbert can fight it out, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think all of us just kind of wish the Michael Gallup situation had gone differently, but at the end of the day, we need room on this team for receivers who can actually contribute.
And unfortunately, that's the clown show.
That's the nicest way I can say it.
That's the clown show. That's what happens when the front office signs Michael Gallup after tearing his ACL late in the season, and then they want him back on that field week 1 or 2 or 3. And that was the problem. That was the bad move.
He has not been the same since he came back
Correct.
from that injury. And
the Cowboys paying him big money coming off that injury. They did the same thing to Terrence Steele last year. That's my issue with this fucking clown show. That's my issue. It's not on Gallup. Gallup is unfortunately, he didn't have much separation, even less now. But that's part of, you got to move on from the guy. That's one part of it. But it's the deal they made, this fucking clown show. That's the problem. That's my issue with this fucking front office, and that's my issue of them representing that star, because they're doing it wrong. Let's be real about it. They're doing it wrong. So, now that I got through the Michael... Any other comments in the chat about Michael Gallup, by the way?
Seabass said kept Gallup over Cooper.
That's exactly... Shit. You probably could have gotten more for Michael Gallup in a trade and kept Amari Cooper here for $20 million a year. I guess it would have been too much. Maybe you could have restructured it and maybe made the hit $11 million or something like that. I'm just saying, like, that's the way to go.
Look, the point is that we had options and we basically chose none of them.
Shit the motherfucking bed. That's what we did. That's the option we chose. Let's screw ourselves the worst. Like, other ways could have been issues, but let's just do it the worst and screw ourselves. That's my issue. It's a fucking team and it's fucking
So yeah, and just to clarify, Michael Gallup has not been cut.
No.
When the Cowboys eventually make that move, it will be a post-June 1st cut.
Right, and it'll be done before March. It'll be announced before March 17th, I guarantee that.
Unless he somehow, like we just said, finds a way, to find a trade and find a new home.
He gets to an agreement, and we also, I think here it is. Let me see. It's a rumor he was saying. I see. Brandon James saying it was a rumor. So, yeah, we got it. But, rumors. You know
what? It would be great if he does move on somewhere for him to go to an AFC team rather than the freaking Commanders, where I feel like is a more likely landing spot for him.
Let me divert
based
this.
on the fact that they have money to throw in.
I'm going to divert this back to the NFC East. Unless there's any other comments on Michael Gallup, we could hit him throughout the night.
Yeah.
But I'll keep it moving here.
Oh, good. We kind of touched on most of them.
Okay, so Gallup situation is expected. Just the Cowboys are acting like we're going to get a deal now in a trade instead of like nobody fucking knows we're going to cut him, right? Come on. So staying with the NFC East, I mean, we touched on the Giants a little bit. The Eagles had yesterday. We talked about the Eagles with some interest with Saquon Barkley. We talked about the Commanders now. And the Eagles, back to them, they're having trade calls right now for one of their starting edge rushers, Josh Sweat. So he has 35 career sacks and is only 26 years old. So they're going to get some draft picks for this guy or something for him. Philly is starting over with a new defensive staff, and Sweat is on the move in this scenario. But, the reason they're trying to get rid of Josh Sweat and also trade away Hassan Reddick, which we talked about that a week ago from the Eagles, their best pass rusher, they're letting these guys facilitate trades and trying to get trades done. Why? Because they want to move in some of their new guys, to those spots there. And kind of get their starters the rookies that they've drafted into the mix there. So we'll see how that stuff goes, how that plays out for the Eagles. But they're definitely losing some depth in the end. Now, fuck Philly, always. But according to BetOnline, you know what the most hated team in the NFL is? The most hated team. Now, this is negative sentiments towards NFL teams in the last 90 days, based off of Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, based on negative tweets. What team do you think is number one? I'll give you one guess.
I mean, are we number one in this too? Are we the
We
top?
used to be number one. Now we're number two.
Okay.
We're number two.
Damn, we can't even win at this.
Well, I mean, usually you got I hate the Cowboys. Cowboys suck. If you see any of that on Twitter, somebody's documenting this.
Either love us or you love to hate us. Yeah, trust me, we've been around that block.
We're about 9,000 negative tweets in the last 90 days. The only team worse than us, more negative tweets, the Kansas City Chiefs. Because those Super Bowls are the way they won in overtime, all that stuff.
That tracks, considering nobody likes a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, and they're like 11,000 negative tweets. The Eagles are at about 8,000. Are third on this list and down the list. I don't care.
The best part about those Eagle hate tweets, like 50% of those are fans.
Oh yeah, I know, and I think Cowboy tweet ones are as well. I think the Cowboy tweets are also our own guys, our own fans. But anyways, the least hated, sentiments towards their teams: Jacksonville Jaguars, the Colts, the Bucks, the Commanders, the Cardinals. These teams suck. That's
I was going to say, you have to have fans to hate them in the first place.
Yeah, so that's why no one really hates them. You know what I mean? Now, speaking of hating the Cowboys, do you guys remember what went down just a couple days ago with old Dalton Schultz? Do you guys remember?
I mean, hard to forget, yeah.
I mean, saying basically that the culture in Dallas is bad. It's a lot of people, walking through for the tours while you're working out. It's distracting. It's a zoo. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what Dalton Schultz said. He also said that they dragged they dragged in my replacement while I was there too, and they didn't give me a deal. Like they dragged in my replacement basically. Yeah. Brought in my replacement, didn't give me what I want to get paid. I had to leave after getting tagged, and then they had Ferguson in there basically. He didn't say that, but that's what he kind of was meaning. Speaking of Ferguson, baby, do you know what he did?
What did he do?
Tight end Jake Ferguson yesterday took a picture of the entrance of the star workout area, not the workout area, but the star field. Let's put the Ford Field, the indoor center field there, where it says, quote, "It is a privilege, not a right, to play, coach, and work for the Dallas Cowboys." He took a picture of that, posted it, and that's all. No comments, no thoughts, just that. Now that to me says, hey, Dalton Schultz, fuck you. We're doing it. We can do it. I can do it. Like, I don't have a problem with people knocking on the windows or we're like the zoo over here. I'm good with that. Why couldn't you? How are you talking shit? I didn't say any of this. I'm paraphrasing for him. What I think he wanted to say, guys, that, basically everything is different in Dallas. The energy is different. And it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but it's under the fucking microscope. So, Bill Parcells compared coaching for the Cowboys to playing in the big room in Vegas. So he said, basically the what I get from this is that no matter, he's saying fuck you to Dalton Schultz, but the environment and culture is different in Dallas compared to other teams.
Yeah, like if you can't handle it, just say so.
And that coming to the Cowboys, the first day you walk into the room, and Ferguson was just addressing that for Dalton Schultz in case he missed that with that side eye. I like that. I like that comment by Ferguson.
I have to admit,
you here for the pettiness?
It too.
You here for the petty?
I am, and I also think, and this is just me speculating as well, I think the shot that was being shot there was partially, hey, like, you don't have the privilege of playing for the Dallas Cowboys because they moved on from you.
Not anymore.
Like, you get my point?
Yeah, he couldn't.
Especially because he came and filled his shoes.
I see it as Ferguson saying, listen, I got this. You can't handle this. Like, I can handle it. You obviously couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if anybody has any comments on that in the chat, but...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Mike Aldana saying Fergie called Schultz out.
I agree.
Seabass said Ferg stands on business.
Yeah.
Buddy was in Jamal's face saying, yeah, all right. And he screamed at him and had Jamal feeling Jaleel.
Remember that?
Oh,
Hell yeah. So Ferguson doing the right things as our starting number one Dallas Cowboy tight end.
He has the big personality to match and hang here.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Ferguson. I told you he'd be the starter. I said he could be the starter over Schultz. Did not want to keep him. Sorry, Cleveland Brown. I know you're out there listening somewhere. So, we ended up moving on from him. Is the right thing to do. And I'm glad he's doing great there in Houston, connecting with C.J. Stroud and all them. So, now we talking a little bit of the draft. And why am I talking draft this time, baby? Because I got all our draft picks, and they're front and center.
All right.
Because the compensatory draft picks have come out yesterday for the 2024 draft, and they were awarded yesterday. The list of picks were announced, and of course, you only can take 32 picks, and they measure that on contract and how good their production was, and when they add it all up, you know what I'm saying? You only pick the top 32, and you get picks from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm sorry, 6th and 7th rounds. So after announcing this, the Cowboys ended up receiving 2 comp picks for guys they've lost. We've lost in the last offseason for this 2024 NFL draft. We received a 5th rounder. You can see the asterisks are the ones showing you there what we received. We had a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then we had a 7th and a 7th. That was our draft, guys. Those were our 5 picks. 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, and 2 7th rounders. Now we added a 5th and a 6th rounder. Yeah. And remember, they're at the end of the rounds. So the end of the 5th round, the end of the 6th. That 3rd round to the 5th is going to be a killer. That's like almost 100 picks right there that we got to wait for. So we will make our top 3 picks got to be good this year. So here's the deal, guys. 5th round pick, 6th round pick. The 5th round pick we got is pick number 173 overall in the 5th round. And that is compensation for which player? Connor McGovern, who went to the Bills, 3-year, $21 million deal. All
right.
So Connor McGovern gave us that 5th rounder. And the 6th rounder is for the guy talking shits, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz got us pick number 216, as you can see there. In the 6th round, 216 overall, that's the comp for Dalton Schultz. Now, here's an interesting thing too, baby. The Cowboys, the Packers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars all qualified for a compensatory selection under the net loss formula. But we did not receive any more picks because the final I guess you could say the final numerical value of the CFA, who has the lowest ranked 33rd or lower. So it was under that cutoff line. What I'm trying to say is Noah Brown was the guy who went to the Texans who was going to get us a 7th round pick. But he did not get into that top 32 guys. He was at 34th. So basically by two moves that outdid him somehow, that we could have at least one more 7th round pick. Although at that point it's the end of the 7th round. It's kind of like it doesn't really matter. That's kind of like a undrafted player.
It still feels like we were short. Two moves, so to speak, from maybe getting something. Yeah,
two lucky moves, I guess. But Noah Brown.
I'm just kind of generally surprised. I guess I was expecting like at least a 4th rounder, but I guess I'm just saying. I guess
Connor McGovern
just kind of falls in that 5th
McGovern
round.
got more money than Schultz. I think he did, and he also started all the games and everything. Schultz was injured for a little bit, so that's probably why I dropped our pick there for Schultz. But yeah, we weren't going to get much more for Connor McGovern. That's pretty much 5th rounder we're going to get from him. The Noah Brown, we lose a 7th rounder with Noah Brown, but the Cowboys were one of 9 teams to obtain multiple comp picks in this draft. So just giving the update. Any quick thoughts or comments on this? As you can see there, our entire draft.
Nope.
All right.
No comments. All right.
So we're good. We're good then. So, anyways, as far as our Cowboys, that's our draft situation there going into this draft. And listen, not really anything great. At least we got something to buffer. It was going to be the 87th pick, and then it was going to be the 234th pick. Like that's horrific. That's a cavern. At least we got a little less of a cavern there with the 173rd and the 216th. I guess that's as best we could have hoped for with this shitty outlook for this draft right now. So, draft talk done. What about some other after kind of outside relaxation things here as they're getting ready? In this offseason still to come back here shortly. We had one of Ferguson's buddies there, Sean McEwen, and on defense, Deron Bland. Both these guys were invited to work on their golf swing during the 2nd annual Bring the Juice tournament. So both these guys, Sean McEwen, tight end, and Deron Bland, took part in this event to benefit the Juice Foundation. Deron Bland, afterwards, he did speak on how he kept resetting personal goals last year. Who, again, Defensive Player of the Year kind of was like his ultimate goal by the end of the year, but he did not even think about that at the beginning of the season. And he didn't have many words. He doesn't really speak very often, Deron Bland, but he made sure to say it's all about, and I'm paraphrasing here, team goals in 2024 and accomplishing that as a team together. So we hope for the best there. And then, really quickly, Micah Parsons. I'll speak a little bit more about Micah in a minute. But Micah Parsons and Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud, they are heading to China and they're heading to Japan. Why? To help run youth and high school football camps.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Good job spreading the word of the NFL across the world.
They're probably, I imagine, being kind of lovingly guided to do this by that whole NFL International thing. We kind of saw a commercial for it during the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Remember that they're really pushing the kind of international aspect of it. So really cool and really smart for them to get current NFL players to be involved in any way they can.
A big name like Micah Parsons, also C.J. Stroud. Remember, they played basketball together.
True.
And for the All-Star game, the All-Star weekend for basketball and the NBA, they, I think, have a good camaraderie and relationship. And I think they've done other stuff, too, as well, outside of this. So they are obviously friends doing this together, and I think that they've struck up a good friendship there. It'd be better when we play them and he gets to sack the fuck out of C.J. Stroud. It's going to be awesome. He'll relate some things to him. But this tour is with Gridiron Imports. It's a nonprofit that helps international athletes come to the United States and play football. So good thing he's doing there. Now, one last thing, which gets us to a bigger thing, kind of the big thing of today, is it's about, a couple of our offensive linemen. Tyron Smith was there. Tyron Smith was not there. He's the only one that's not there, but Tyler Smith and other offensive linemen. Let me explain. Zach Martin. Let me throw him up on the screen here. Zach Martin, Brock Hoffman, Dakota Shepley, They were working through hand drills. I have some video on that later. I'll post that on our shorts or whatever. But they were going through some offensive lineman hand drills at offensive line masterminds. We know he works for what? Manyweather there, Floyd Manyweather, right? Isn't it? I think Floyd Manyweather. He works over there with them. Every offseason, these guys train there. So this offensive masterminds, app, you can get all the information about them. But if you're an offensive lineman, that's where you want to go. And that's where all our guys have trained there. Terrence Steele and, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. Now we got backups going in there, and Tyler Smith was there as well. But we got guys like Dakota Shepley, who's a practice squad guy, Brock Hoffman, backup center. So these guys are out there working their asses off. Now, in this mix of working out, we got a big piece of news yesterday about Zach Martin, which gets us officially under the salary cap. Yes, guys, like we said, we didn't even restructure Dak's contract yet, but we are already under the cap officially. The Cowboys converted Zach Martin's final contract year to get under the salary cap officially. He was scheduled, listen to this, he was scheduled to make $18 million in base this year. All was guaranteed after the holdout last training camp. It was set to cost the Cowboys this season $28.5 million against the cap. $28.5 million is his cap hit. But in restructuring this deal, Cowboys still give Zach Martin his entire $18 million portion of his salary, but they convert that $18 million. Out of that $18 million, they convert $16.25 million into a bonus, and then they added a third void year to his deal. So they're having 2 dead cap years. They have 3, taking that $16.25 million, dividing it over 4 years. This year and the next.
So
next
it
3.
makes even
or
if we
5
end
years,
up with some dead money, it makes that hit much smaller, closer to $4 million, right? If it's 16,
I think it's 4 or 5 years because he's got this year and next year on with us, and then he's got 4 years of dead cap or 3 years of dead void. So yeah, let's just say 5 years at the most. You get the 16 divided by 5, or somewhere between. I'll tell you in a minute. I think it's 3 point something million. The point I'm trying to say is, you're taking that 16.25, you're spreading it out over the life of the contract. That's 3 dead years, plus the next 2, so that's 5. The void years, as you guys should know already, are accounting tools for the NFL to help them push cap money forward, which the Cowboys do that a lot, and it's a good move to do because your money is worth more when you push it down the line. Martin now has 4, he has 4 void years, and that starts in 2025. Next year.
Okay.
4 void years, 25, 26, 27, 28. His deal now totals under $23 million when you spread it out. So his 2024 cap hit went from 28.5 to a lot lower. You know why? His base hit now, it was 18, went down, we took away 16.25. It's $1.75 million. Okay. Is his base salary. His previous bonus allocation, which you have to redistribute it, is $10.5 million. And then you add the new restructure allocation, which is $3.25 million. Which, like I said, it's that portion that we took. It's at 16.25 and spread over 5 years. Okay. So when you do that, basically his base salary is 1.75. We're giving him a $10.5 million bonus. Well, the restructured broken down bonuses, yes, gotcha. And then another broken down restructure, which is about 3.25. When you add it up, instead of being 28.5, it's $15.5 million on the cap. So you're saving $13 million in cap space. You see how that works? You can absorb those hits later down the line in 2025, 26, 27, and 28. It saves the Cowboys $13 million this year. All right? The salary cap keeps going up. That $13 million takes a lower percentage of the total cap in future year caps because the cap's going to be bigger next year. That $3.25 million that we're pushing down, it's going to be like $2.25 million, guys. That's going to be worth a lot more then than now. So that's the whole point of doing this. It's smart. The Cowboys got to use the money now. They're scared to. So now that we did this, guys, shadows. I mean, I'm telling you, essentially gives the Cowboys greater spending power. Cowboys are the third most cash-filled team, and they don't use it. That's the poor. We make space, but we don't use that money. That's the problem with the Cowboys front office. According to Over the Cap, now the Cowboys are under the cap. $1.8 million under the cap. The cap line there. So again, great move there by the Cowboys, as it's very easy to do. Mm-hmm. But it's really 2024 could be kind of do you think this could be an all-in kind of year for Zach Martin? Because he turns 34 in November. And again, the Cowboys saved $13 million for this year, but the key is this: we have an opportunity. We had with this move, we created the opportunity to basically create $7 million next year in cap space for the for his contract. If we release him, we get $7 million back on the cap. If he's a post June 1st cut, so we get $7 million. Like we get him back 9.5 from Gallup. We get 7 back from him next year if we cut him. But both sides have a lot to sort out before that could happen. That's next year. The reworking of the deal, according to the Cowboys sources themselves, say that does not signal this is last year with the Cowboys, and that he will be. He definitely could be back with the Cowboys next year. Is the whole point. Even if it's 4 dead years, you can still make a deal with him, and then find a way to kind of incorporate all that money into and re-divvy it out over the life of the contract or the extension.
Right,
if we do that in the offseason. But
right
now
we're in a
moving
spot
the money forward.
where we have options, so to speak. I mean, I can't really see us moving on from Zach Martin quite that way, but at the same time, a lot of us are sitting here like, either happy that Tyron Smith supposedly seems to be moving on, or holy crap, we're moving on from Tyron Smith. So it seems like Zach Martin will be able to spend his golden years of football with our Cowboys.
Yes, he's here. He's at the golden years. So again, guys, that's the way the Cowboys moving around some money. Of course, the restructure of Dak and other restructures are definitely, CeeDee Lamb's extension will help the Cowboys.
Will obviously factor in as well.
That will help us create a lot more room if the Cowboys want to. They're not showing that right now for some strange reason, but we are under the cap officially. And then a source also came out saying that there's going to be restructures coming down the road, not just for the Zach Martin deal here, but for Trayvon Diggs and Terrence Steele. So now,
no surprise.
But that's going to create more money. That's going to create maybe another $15 million of cap space. So now instead of being just $2 million under, $17 million under. And that's without the extension for CeeDee Lamb, which would give us another 10 or 11 or 13. That's before Dak's restructure or extension, which gives us another $25 million. Now when you add it up, you're like, like we're at like $45, $55 million right now if you add those two deals in there as well. So like we've been saying here in MCF, it's easily can be done. Easily get done. But don't hold your breath on a quote-unquote all-in from the Cowboys. So Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele, they said it's going to occur, but not at this stage right now. So the Cowboys, they're trying not to have money for free agency. They're trying to have their money for free agency in 2 months from now. Is what they're going to probably do. When they make these moves, it'll be too late to any big names. Now we'll have money, and now it'll be the leftovers. That's the way the Cowboys move. So, again, big contracts for CeeDee Lamb and Dak, we'll see. But the way you look at these extensions, take a look at it like this. All right? You look at the right tackle market. I'm not a big fan of Terrence Steele, but when you look at the right tackle market, at least if he could just get back to where he was, it was worth it for Terrence Steele. Even if I'm not a big fan of Terrence Steele.
Honestly, as long as we can get his contract to a much more manageable situation at this point, we're just going to have to accept it is what it is. I think I remember I mentioned towards the end of the season, Terrence Steele held up the entire season. He did not miss a single snap. So, on one hand, as much as his play definitely needs to look way better if we want him to be any kind of a right tackle, his availability and his consistency, like if that's the worst he's going to give us after coming back from an injury like that, I think the Cowboys are a little more hopeful about him. And even I have to admit, it does leave room to hope.
Listen.
Right? But yeah, we got to restructure that contract. Right now, too much.
I will
Marco
hope.
Seppian, shout out to you.
Marco Seppian in the house. Aloha, sir. The man in the house. Much love. I'm repping that Starwood in Hawaii. But I want to say something about, because I am not sold on Terrence Steele. I wasn't really sold on him even when he was at his best, but I was like, all right, he's showing me something. Then he got hurt. Then he didn't come back strong this last year. He played every snap, and that's good, but I need him to be back to where he was. And if he does, easily worth the contract. That's what, when you look at the right tackles, they're getting a lot of money out there. So for Terrence Steele, it is a good deal, but he's got to get back to his true form. And when you look at the left side of our line, it makes financial sense for Tyler Smith. When he starts to negotiate next year, should negotiate probably more as a guard than a left tackle. Even though left tackles, you're like surprised why. Guard is where he's actually elite. Like he's good, really good at left tackle, but he's elite at guard.
I have to admit, I kind of assumed it was more of a talent player thing, but you're saying that overall left tackles get paid less than guards. Just
yeah. I mean, usually, but
okay.
Now it depends on if you're Tyron Smith at his height, you're gonna get more than a guard. But if you're Tyron Smith now, you'd rather be a guard because the guard will get you more money. So it just depends. It really depends on the player. But when you look at the growth in the average of the top 5 players at each position on offense only, from 2014 to 2023, so for 10 years, you can see who's outpacing the cap on offense and where some real explosive growth is at. You know where it's at? Right tackle. That's the biggest growth. The biggest growth on the offense in this 10-year span is right tackle. It grew 190.9%. That is number one. So right tackles have gone up a lot in value in 10 years. Quarterback second, believe it or not, 154.6% growth. At guard, 116.6% growth. At wide receiver, 109.3% growth. Left tackle, 101% growth. Tight end, 96.9% growth. The salary cap growth, 92%. And then listen to this. Center, only a 74.5% growth. Running back, 54.9%. That's in the red. Running back, I would say, look, quarterback, right tackle with the most explosive growths, but by far the worst two, center, which we need, and running back, which we need. So the Cowboys, stop with the bullshit about the money. You need money. Bullshit, my ass. You don't need money. The center and running back are the cheapest positions as far as growth was concerned over the 10 years that the Cowboys have been cheap under all these good deals we've had, and the Cowboys haven't done anything with it. So now at center, but Biotish looks like he's not going to be here. Either you draft somebody or you got to make a move. Same thing at running back. But you're going to draft, if you're going to go in the 3rd or 4th round, now you're playing with fire again for starters. And the Jerry Jones smoke up our ass bullshit show starts. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there. It's interesting that the right tackle has the most growth on offense in the last decade, while center and running back have the least growth. Important to note for our Cowboys and their excuses they're going to throw at us this entire fucking offseason. And speaking of running back, oh yeah, we're here, guys. Free agent time. Oh shit, we are here. The man Mark Hosepian. It's been a while. He's back on the map. Mark Hosepian dropping that 5 on it. The $5 holler.
You know
what did our man from Hawaii have to say?
You know how I don't like Dak, but Jerry Jones is an idiot. If Dak gives us the best chance to win now, why is it that you don't sign Tyron? Who will replace him? Aloha.
And I know we discussed it here. I voiced my opinion on this. I am 100% with you. We know what this is called. Guys, say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Clown show. Motherfucking clowns. So when you see this shit they play games. They play games. I
scared the dog with the clown show music. Guys.
They waste time to sign their guys. Lamar, if other guys get signed in the next month or two, and then we sign Dak, don't get mad, guys, when we got to sign him for $1 million more than the other guys that signed. And this is the clown show. If they are sure they want Dak like they were last time, and they waited and waited and waited. Now are they sure now or they're not? They're playing games, dumb negotiation games? Because if they are playing games and they still want Dak, then they're idiots if they don't sign him now. Just plain and simple. Now they can restructure and we can make money for the cap. We still have money. We're still we're still going to take a hit down the road and have Dak. So
or like we've kind of said too, the Cowboys maybe are somehow for whatever reason not 100% sure or all in on Dak.
Right,
in which case, I'm just saying, regardless of whatever point it is, their decision or indecision is going to cost us currently. Because if they're trying to move on from Dak, well, they better start arranging that with a quickness. If Dak is their guy, then again, back to everybody's points, why the heck haven't we signed him? And if the Cowboys are indecisive and still trying to figure out what they want to do, well then holy shit, guys. What the heck? They're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, letting the time pass, and decisions will be made for them regardless of what they want.
That's the Stephen Jones negotiating, timeline deals bullshit. Look, the thing here is that there is the best chance is Dak right now. He's let's just say top 7 quarterback. and the Joneses, they're not sure, then we're just gonna, it's just a matter of when do we implode with this team.
See, Bass. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Hopefully, I didn't kill you with the clown music.
That was loud.
No, he said you didn't have to improv the circus clown music.
Yeah, we give it all. We got the sound effects machine. We got that.
Yeah, who needs the sound effects machine when you have MCW, right?
Yeah, you run the show.
I provide all the sound effects you'll ever need. Oh, so by the way, Ronald Rodriguez, yes, we are obviously currently live now, regardless, adjust accordingly for your time zone, of course. But we will probably not be live when the hour actually officially changes over, at least on the MCF side of things.
Yeah, we might be on After Dark, though. You can watch for us there. Much love to Mark Hovsepian once again, who's tied for 11th on this board. What did the man say?
Shout out to you. He said, I heard that we can actually redo his contract to save money but not sign him long term. If this is true, I'd do that. And then if he plays well, just, extend him and then sign him long term. So basically that we can restructure his current deal now without necessarily having to extend him.
I'll hit that up in a minute. I mean,
that kind of happy middle ground where we obviously still do something with his current contract, but we don't necessarily keep him here any longer.
Well, you might want to. And that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to sign him to an extension, but then you're taking on a dead hit later on is the bigger deal, I guess you could say. Let me say it this way,
yeah. So basically, what would that look like as far as if the Cowboys restructured?
I deleted it by accident. I'm sorry. This stupid thing here. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I hit the wrong button. Fine. I'm rushing back and forth, and I missed it. I'm sorry. So, yeah,
it's fine. I can still see the comment here on the screen. So give me a second.
Sorry, Mark. I deleted it on my side. I don't know why it got deleted.
It's fine. But basically, he just said that I heard that we can actually redo his contract to save money, but not sign them long term. And if this is true, I'd do that. And then if he plays well, sign him long term.
So you can restructure Dak's contract. That is the case there. You restructure Dak's contract, but then I feel so bad. You restructure Dak's contract, and then you open up like $23 million, right? Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't do great. We talked about this the other day, that we can wait up until next year at this time and then sign Dak and make the deal. But by then, it's going to go up at least $2, $3, $4 million. And we'll have to pay him $65 million. So it's about, you want to wait another year? He has another quote-unquote MVP type season.
Yeah.
He's going to get $65 million next year, you know what I'm saying, for 3 more years. And that's the kind of, you got to think, okay, do you want to hold out like that? Or do you want to sign him now for a 2-year or 3-year extension? Kick the money down the road that we have to pay back. And we still only get hits of like $28, $38 million at quarterback for guys getting paid, an average of $60 million a year or so. So I think that there's ways of moving this money down and using voidable years. And we got to take a year or 2 of hits. And we got to kind of get lucky that year, whatever it may be, maybe 2028, But the next couple of years, we still can make runs at things with Dak is the way I look at it. So it's up to the Cowboys. I want to make a comment about the fact that the Cowboys have no leeway. They have no leverage because Trey Lance is looked at as being a tradable piece to the Vikings. Cooper Rush will never start for the Cowboys. As if we starting with him, we're losing. And so when you look at this, the Cowboys once again have no other way to go than Dak Prescott. This is the clown show's fault because they don't know how to negotiate. Stephen Jones don't know how to negotiate. That's my opinion on that. I don't know. Anyways.
So, by the way, I do want to take a second here because you guys are cracking me up. But yeah, Seabass, like we said, what exactly does all-in mean for the Joneses? We are finding out live and in action. Mike Aldana said you're still paying Dak either way.
Right, you're paying
restructure or do whatever.
If you restructure him, you're going to be paying like $60 million and then $40 million in dead cap in the next 2 years after that, and we'll pay $100 million over 2 or 3 years of Dak. Dak won't be here. Like right now, we're paying $6 million on Zeke this year. Paying $6 million on Zeke. But my point is $6 million is one thing, $36 million is another thing. And he's not here for Dak Prescott. Marco Seppian dropping that 1-2 J. Lou dollar holler.
Actually, it's a $5 holler.
Yes, he dropped a 5.
Probably blocked out by the $2 holler.
Oh, yeah, it was. I see a 5, a 2, and then I guess I see another 5. Another 2 coming up. I'm sorry. But either way, we have a couple drops from Mr. Marco Seppian as he takes Jeremy Bramlett to 76 points. What did he say with his drops, baby?
My concern is if he resets the market and we still get the same shit from him, we are stuck with a huge contract for a solid, not game-changing guy. If he proves himself, then pay him the extra $4 million, and it also gives us another year to look at Trey Lance. So that's all of his comments.
I hear him. I hear him. That Trey Lance thing is what I'm trying to say. The Cowboys are looking to trade Lance right now at this moment, which I don't know. To me, is a little bit. I don't know, baby. I would say questionable in my mind. I don't know. That's
so the one good thing is Dak won't reset the market. But to be fair to your concern, Mark Hosepian, he will be amongst those who do. If he gets restructured or something. Like, he's going to be in the mix there somewhere. So there's no running away from that. And yeah, obviously if you extend a guy, you're keeping him here longer. And that is with the expectation that he's going to play the way he's been playing. And if you're already not happy with his play, then I don't see that necessarily changing in that sense. So he's, unfortunately, like we've said, actually, I don't want to speak for you. Like I've said before, he's done enough. I don't think that there's any way around paying him more money in some capacity. Right? That's just my personal opinion. The front office can spin it however they want, but you don't, like your boss doesn't hit you up 2 years later and tell you, hey, by the way, we're going to offer you a pay cut. They're going to usually offer you a raise. Even, yes, Dak Prescott. So that's why I said I think it's just really bizarre that we're in this situation. Either the Cowboys are unsure of him and we're screwing ourselves, or we are sure of him, but then we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Yeah. Like, either one of those options is a scary one for me.
Yeah. Listen, in the end, I hate saying this over and over again, but it is only one group to blame, and that's over Dak, over his agent, over this and that. It's the clown show. Case closed. And here's some good news, guys. Thank you, Mark, by the way. That is all the Dak Prescott we got to talk about today. There's nothing more about Dak we got to discuss. And that just came up in the discussions here, in the comments. So let me talk about free agents. Because
actually, I wanted you to touch on the Trey Lance thing super quick, just because I don't know if Mark knows about the latest kind of Trey Lance rumor out there.
I want to make sure the man Mark Hosepian knows it. A couple days ago we discussed this. You can see if you go back a couple days, you see the picture with Dak, and behind Dak is Trey Lance. Trey Lance, right now he may be going to Minnesota. Is some of the word. If Kirk Cousins ends up going to Atlanta, the Vikings are interested in getting Trey Lance and trading for him. The Cowboys are open for that. So that's already been confirmed. So we'll see what happens, but. Trey Lance is not the answer right now. Of course, neither is Cooper Rush. So that's my point. It's not necessarily, like we can go other ways if we wanted to, but you're not going to draft a quarterback. You're not going to, there's no one to replace him on our team. You're not going to trade for a quarterback. So what are you going to do? Cooper Rush it? You might as well just throw the season away. Yeah. At least with Dak, there's a chance. If our defense is good and the rest of the players around Dak are good, we can make a real run. But, right, we thought we had that last 3 fucking years, and we got nothing out of it. So I think one of the main things we got to do is maybe re-scheme our offense and the way we want to run the ball. Because when I look at this guy right here, Derrick Henry, not saying we should go get him and we're 100% got to get him or we're going to lose, but that's a guy for about $4.5 million or less you may bring into town. Yeah. You should look at he lives in Dallas. His girlfriend's in Dallas. He just bought another house in Dallas. Doesn't change anything. He's always been in Dallas. But he works out there. All that.
Dallas, right. But he's never been a free agent, rumored to maybe possibly be coming to the Dallas Cowboys, and then also been in Dallas. Right. I'm going to be the person to say it, because apparently no one else will.
We have some news on this. I'll discuss it in a minute. But first, let me discuss the man, Mark Hosepian, who dropped that 5 on it. What did the man say?
He said, Mr. MCF, I broke down every game last year, and it shows that he does jack against better teams. I don't consider an MVP season scoring 75 points on Washington and lame teams. Well, Mr. Mark Hosepian, I know you don't consider it.
That's what's in a.
That is what the Cowboys consider. That
not
is
even
what
the Cowboys. That's the league.
Yeah.
If Dak Prescott has a season like you're saying, has a season, MVP season, guess what happens, Mark? Mm-hmm. Dak is going to be 65. That's what I'm trying. Don't forget about NFC Championship game or Super Bowl. If Dak has another year like he had this year, you're going to pay him a lot more than you were going to pay him this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that's what I want or don't want. Those are the facts at hand. So you tell me which way you want to go, Mark. Let me know. That's a tough one. And we also got a $10 holler by Mr. Calvin Richard, who, again, like I said, Navy Blue crew in the house back in there. What did Calvin have to say with that $10 holler? Taking Jeremy Bramlett, the Bram man, down to 59 points in the Stream Boss.
We really need production from this next draft. The last one was a bit lame. Not just a bit lame. Calvin Richards, remember.
Big bust.
When our Cowboys depend on the draft the way that they do, this wasn't just a lame draft. This draft left us lame. We went into the season gimping on one leg at certain positions because we invested in certain players that did not produce the way we were expecting. And combine that with the general lack of draft picks this past, draft season, so to speak, on top of, the other moves that didn't quite, you know what I mean? It's lots of little things, but at the end of the day, really simplified to the guys that we picked did not work out, and we had less of those guys to pick. So this year, now that we have a more normal amount of draft picks.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The third round, 87th, fifth round, 173rd. And we got that one and the next one yesterday. It would have been all the way in the 7th round. So we had nothing in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round. We're lucky we got some back-end 5th and 6th round, opportunities. But you gotta hit the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks. You gotta hit them right.
Yep.
Or you're fucked. So I'm with you on that, Calvin. We gotta hit those draft picks. But I also believe we need to listen, if you run the ball with maybe, better scheme / a better, 1-2 punch or whatever. I'm not saying Pollard can't do it, but he needs another guy in there. And Rico Dowdle's not the guy. We didn't even use Rico as much as we probably should have. And in the end, we barely used Tony Pollard the way we probably should have. He did better after week 11, even against tough teams, right? Even with our offensive line not run blocking well. The second half of the year, he's a top 10 running back, a top 4 in most categories at the end of the season. So the Cowboys, I talked about it yesterday, are thinking of bringing him back. What about him and Derrick Henry? Because now I'm hearing there's rumors Derrick Henry coming to Dallas is now a real possibility. Now, take it with a grain of salt, although it's a guy who has good background in breaking stuff, and that's Jeff Kavanaugh. Jeff Kavanaugh said Derrick Henry to the Cowboys is way more possible and likely than I thought. Of course, we've been talking about this for a while. Now, I'm not saying he's the end-all, be-all, Derrick Henry. He's a power back with attitude, something we were missing last year, and we needed it. Take pressure off of Dak. And I'm not saying we just run more. I'm just saying he can catch, he can pass block. Derrick Henry can run over people. That's what we kind of need again. Mr. Marco Seppian, once again, with that $2 holler. What did he have to say, baby?
He said, the league's dumb. LOL. I'll send you what I did. Mr. Mark, go ahead, send that on over. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't doubt that the league is dumb. I don't doubt that things are maybe worse or better than we might think. But like we said, what we personally think, what we are seeing, that is 100% not what the Joneses are seeing and interpreting. That's why I said the Joneses the league will are saying that they are 100% all in behind Dak. There's no reason for us to doubt Dak. Dak is their guy. Okay, why haven't you done the very freaking obvious thing of extending him, signing him, redoing it, all that stuff? But no. So
they play games.
Like I said, if they haven't done that, and just the way that they're approaching it too, right? Like in a very, I guess you could say, typical Cowboy manner, right?
Jonesy.
But if I don't know, they've never been afraid of, locking down and saying when their guy is their guy. So for them to kind of, be playing cutesy now with Dak's contract is just, I don't know.
It's just typical for the Joneses.
I feel like there's maybe a little bit more to it than just, Dak is our guy.
By the way, Mark, with that drop, with that little $2 holler there, and the other drops, he's in 6th place. He was like 23rd. 6th place, just like with a couple little drops here and there on this board. Appreciate you. I know I got Calvin Richard, who's in the membership. He's now jumped into the where did he jump? Oh yeah, he jumped into the top into the higher teens areas there. So appreciate him.
Seabass. I wish so too. But you know what does let you use memes? Just throwing that out there. Technically, Streamlabs. Does let you, I think, use memes and lets them show up on the screen. So just kind of a little,
did not know that.
Thing there. But he also said, MCF, you said it best. The Joneses prefer to lose their way rather than win someone else's way, and that's why Jimmy Johnson exists.
He'll never be back. He'll never be back.
Exactly.
That's why he's not going to be here.
Although he is currently consulting for the Dallas Cowboys.
Again, make sure it's a joke because he's consulting in a way that, you know,
look,
a buddy says hello.
Him every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the amount of consulting he's doing.
Yeah, not much.
Like they're talking on the phone again, which, you know, is progress, to be fair. I'm not downplaying that either, but, you know.
I'm updating the board here in a second, baby. I'm sorry.
Now, Ganja Man says this is the start of a 3-year rebuild for real. So, this does feel like, I don't want to say necessarily a changing of the guard, but like I said, it feels like the way that we were building our team, that last year was our real big last hurrah. Now, too many pieces are changing. Too many things have kind of shifted for this to feel like a true continuation of everything we did last year. It's a derivative of it, but it's not I wouldn't call it a continuation. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I do think we're in a bit of a precipice, but like I said, we're in this weird in-between year. I can't really call this a 3-year rebuild because we have no idea what our team looks like next year.
Yeah.
So some players are absolutely sticking around for the long term.
I do see a lot
of our team feels like a big question mark.
We're making more question marks than adding solutions right now with Tyron Smith and other guys kind of departing. You know, you can say Gallup, you can say others, although we knew that was coming. Let me kind of get to the guy on your screen here. Because Derrick Henry, guys, again, a guy we really like to come to Dallas. There's other running back options that are cheaper that can work. Especially if you bring back Tony Pollard for like $4 million. You can bring Derrick Henry for $4 million. That's a 1-2 punch. If you use it right, you can be successful in short yardage, in the passing game, and pass blocking. That, you know what I'm saying? And again, if your offensive line is really working it, then we're set. But those are all the issues we had last year. Not using the running backs enough. The offensive line having issues. So, according to Jeff Kavanaugh, he did some digging after a picture of Derrick Henry with a Dallas City realtor was uploaded to Twitter, which we had discussed the other day. He was getting another house. He wasn't just moving to Dallas. He was getting another house in Dallas. But Kavanaugh said it wasn't about the photo or the video, but he heard it from a source close to him that, quote, not to write that off, in reference to Henry coming to Dallas.
Okay.
He said, quote, this is just stuff that I'm hearing. Again, I'm not a beat writer. I don't go chasing it, but sometimes you just stumble upon things. Once upon a time, I told everyone that Zach Martin was a top 30 visit for the Cowboys because I found that out. With the way that the running back market is now, and Henry checking every box of what most NFL teams need, and that's what most NFL teams are also afraid of. You know, there is something to telling a Jerry Jones or a Stephen Jones, right? But it's Derrick Henry, and that's the point I think he's trying to say. Is like the fact that it's Derrick Henry. There's a name behind it. The Joneses like that, and he's actually in an affordable range for the Cowboys. They like that.
So basically, it has that magic combination of, oh, you've got clout, do you?
Exactly.
And Derrick Henry's name certainly has clout, but also, oh, you're cheap, are you? Which, of course, makes the Cowboys very, very happy.
Yeah, I mean...
So for them to get a running back of what they feel like is that caliber for that type of price that he's currently on the market for, you know, they're willing to probably bring him in for a visit.
Yeah.
Talk with him.
They better do something like that. But it is a flimsy rumor. Let's just put that out there, right? Again, I want to say Jeff Kavanaugh has had some trustworthy information pickups in the past. It's more the fact that he's hearing this. Okay. From a lot of sources, and I'm assuming that the Cowboys are interested to some extent.
So basically, he's just kind of confirming, like, hey, you know, that rumor that, you know, Derrick Henry and the Cowboys are at least interested in each other. There's weight to that rumor. Right, that's it. That's all they're saying.
I think he said when there's smoke, there's smoke to fire on that. So again, there's smoke with fire on where there's smoke, there's fire when it comes to this Derrick Henry situation. We got to wait it out. But I will say, I want to bring up from another viewpoint here that you didn't hear about. But Derrick Henry's former teammate on the offensive line, he's retired now, Taylor Lewin. Mm-hmm. Remember, he had an injury, he had to retire early. But he said he gave reasons why he has his podcast. And he gave reasons of why he thinks that King Henry, he said, should go to Dallas. He says the Ravens, not the team. He said, I think someone said the Bills, but he didn't agree. He said the Cowboys would be the best team for him. And it was more about the zone blocking and the up the field blocking kind of RPOs that he would not be better in RPOs. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys have to kind of move away from that. But the point is, he said about Dak Prescott, quote, he's a quarterback regardless of what some people believe. He can sling the ball like nobody's business. He's a guy who played. Mm-hmm. He knows. Again, former Titans left tackle, Taylor Lewin spoke also about, and in detail about what he thought about the two places that he would see maybe Derrick Henry going to at best. And he said, his partner there, the people in the podcast were saying Bills, and he kind of agreed to something. He's like, yeah, I can see that, yeah. But they did say they had a couple guys there. And then he just said, hey, I think Dallas is a spot for him. And again, he kind of said, like I said, it was about the running scheme that he prefers. Zone blocking. He doesn't like to turn his shoulders when he's running, so he likes to go up the field more so. The one thing he did say why he crosses off the Ravens, because they live off the RPO. Okay. With of course, you got to have a smoother kind of runner, right? When you have Lamar Jackson there, who runs the ball a lot. Derrick Henry would not be good with that amount of RPO. So he said cross off Baltimore, even though a lot of people think that's the number one place for Derrick Henry. He said it's Dallas. So we'll see if this guy right here on our screen, again, number 2 will be available. Jordan Lewis leaves. Will he be number 2 for the Cowboys? Again, we'll see what happens. You see him in the color rush. You see him there in our regular home whites. The possibilities have grown when it comes to Derrick Henry coming to Dallas. But like I always say with the Cowboy front office, don't just take it with a grain of salt. Do not overthink it, because in the end, the Cowboys will probably just go with Tony Pollard and a rookie. I'm just being honest. And speaking of that, guys, a mid-round running back who is getting a big-time amount of interest is Kentucky's Ray Davis, which I talked about him a couple weeks ago. Keep an eye on him. Davis has already met with at least 5 teams, and one of those teams, the Dallas Cowboys. Right? So Cowboys, Bucks, Chargers, Bengals, and Patriots met with him. But again, a guy that's on the Cowboys' radar, running back in the draft. There's also a chance to get a free agent guy, and Tony Pollard is a possibility. Derrick Henry is now officially, still a rumor, but a possibility. Any thoughts on that, baby?
So, I mean, like I said, I am pleasantly surprised that there's maybe a little bit more to this. Now, I'm not putting any of my hopes and dreams into Derrick Henry, but kind of combine that Derrick Henry possibility with some of the Tony Pollard possibilities that we've heard, at least from Pollard's side, right? That Pollard is open to, I'm just saying, that would make a very nice combination. I would be a fan, and that would be, to me, a positive step that still somehow fits within that weird-ass range of things the Cowboys are willing to do.
I'm a fan, but we got to keep it under a certain amount of money. So I would say like under $8 or $7 million. The only way that
happens is if that is already included in
that.
That's like exactly. A prerequisite.
Right, to this. And that's what I'm trying to say. Listen, if we get both these guys for on the cap hit this year, $6 million, you got Zeke's dead $6 million, that's $12 million on all the running backs. It's not bad. It's still too much, but that's not horrible. When you look at, again, you might have to pay them each $4.5 million and then pay the rest of the contract out maybe a little bit later down in voidable years. But you can get both guys on. And listen, here's the deal, though. I do think the Cowboys are going to go running back in the draft. I don't know if 3rd round is a good choice, because the next choice is a 5th round. So, they might go for Ray Davis in Kentucky at that point. But that you got to still have another guy in the backfield. And getting Ray Davis and Tony Pollard would not work. You'd have to have a Derrick Henry and a Ray Davis in that kind of combo. And you got let's say the guy from Texas. If he comes here, you don't really need a Derrick Henry as much. Yeah. But maybe the Pollard works better. So I think that's what the Cowboys are looking at more than anything. Any other quick comments on Henry before we move to our last topic, which is Micah Parsons? There's too many things to put in the title today, but our last tiny thing, and have your drops come in now, your drops of love, your drops of knowledge, because we got one more little topic before we go to tomorrow's stream for the finale of the week.
No, I'm just trying to roll through. Sorry, we have a variety of comments and jokes here in the chat. But Seabass said, Derrick Henry or Bobby Wagner, all I want. I'll buy a slice of the motherfucking pie if they get them dudes.
If they get both those guys, we're sitting pretty with some moves that we needed to make. I would not hold my breath, though.
I would really like that. So, anyway, just kind of rolling back. We kind of touched on some of these other points already. But, we haven't touched on here in a little while. A reminder for everybody to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
You know it.
Again, if you're here chilling, hanging with us at MCF, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, always hop on the Discord. We always post there before we go live. And an extra special shout-out, of course, sponsor of the week, Cash App King.
The man, McLovin in the house.
Jeremy Bramlett, the Bram Man, with 57 points on the stream, boss. And your Cash App, your gifted membership, King.
Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Back-to-back for him. But The brand man's in the lead there. The brand man's in the lead on the overall board. The only thing he's not in control of currently this week, the Cash App, which he just got beat out by Mr. McLovin, who's coming for 5 in a row over there. We'll see what happens.
All right, the chat requests it. So Seabass said I have to read this comment. He said, 3 women you absolutely, positively, undeniably can respect regarding Cowboys football. MCW, Mina Kimes, Kay Adams. The rest of them, bird brains.
I agree. And I agree.
Woo.
Thank you for that. Hey,
huge compliment there.
Yes.
Steve asked to be included with
some
those
of the best
illustrious women
ladies,
as well.
Yeah, the ladies of football. Hey, you are. I second that. Third that and
like
fourth
I said,
that.
real is real.
I love it.
So.
I love it. Real shit is in the house too. Speaking of shit,
so.
that's real. Hey, I'll see real shit. I better see you on that fucking MCF After Dark. Real shit. You get your ass over there. Don't be a bitch. I'll save that stuff for the After Dark session. Let me finish it up, guys. One last thing before we go After Dark. We go dark here on this side, and then we go After Dark on the channel. But we talked about a free agent move there with Derrick Henry at running back. What's the other position the Cowboys are kind of really, needing some help at? Linebacker.
Yeah.
And
desperately.
Micah Parsons, although he's an edge rusher, would be used, I think, as a gap blitzing linebacker a lot on third downs with Mike Zimmer. That's why I think we should bring in someone like Eric Kendricks, who can, both of those guys would be perfect for the Mike Zimmer third down defensive pressure. So Micah Parsons last year led all defensive players in pressures, 103 pressures, in pressure rate, a 21.7% pressure rate. This is all PFF. He was also number 3 on PFF's 101 best players from the 2023 season. He was third analytically, athletically, ability, every way. Micah was third on this list in the NFL. And also, for what it's worth, you want to look at, we talked about tag designations and, fifth-year option designation, linebacker or edge. We talked about how much he played on the edge a lot more, right, than linebacker. But you break it down a little bit more. Look at Micah Parsons' 2023 snaps. As an outside linebacker or off-ball linebacker, that's tricky. Because off-ball linebacker is, he's in the middle more so. As an outside linebacker, he's blitzing. He's blitzing the quarterback. He's kind of an edge rusher as a quote-unquote outside linebacker. He did that 498 times last year. That's almost 60%. That's 59% of the time. He was an off-ball linebacker mixed in with an edge rusher as a linebacker. Like an outside linebacker that rushes the quarterback, basically. And then he had in 2023, he had 347 snaps as a defensive edge rusher with hand on the ground. That's 41% of the time. So if you look at this, it's a 60-40 quote-unquote linebacker. But again, out of that 60%, take that 60% and look at a pie chart and make it 100, because that's the full 60. I would say 75% of that is actually blitzing as an outside linebacker, not as an edge rusher kind of guy. So to me, these are faulty numbers, but 2021, 2022, he played, if you look at as an outside linebacker standing up, he played more linebacker in that sense.
All right.
But he's really a blitzing linebacker. I call that an edge the way he played it. So it's tricky stuff there from PFF. But I want to talk about free agent linebackers that we know we need. And I talked about some of the run-stopping ones. I talked about all the run-stopping guys in there. I talked about the guys that that we would like to see as an off-ball linebacker much, much more than anyone else. Than I'm trying to think of other names out there, but we don't want to see a guy that's a pass rushing outside linebacker. We don't want another Micah. We don't want a guy who is going to go out there and necessarily be the best coverage guy. We got other guys that can cover. The biggest issue is getting getting a guy who's an off-ball linebacker that can stop the run. But let's look at some of these guys that are available in free agency.
All right.
And see how do they do when it comes to coverage. Because that's part of a linebacker's job as well.
Something that we, again, really struggled with as far as our linebackers and coverage.
Yeah, I mean,
in
some ways, yeah, especially when but again, we had Marquise Bell, Damone Clark. They weren't that horrible.
I know, but look, I think Marquise Bell was just. I
know
he was playing that's what I'm saying. He was playing a very unique role. I know he was filling in for linebacker, but it's hard for me to still even now picture him as a linebacker. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Just throwing that out there. By the way, not sure what happened there, but I will take a second to shout out the man Brandon James. He dropped a comment, but it looks like it kind of deleted. itself.
Did you see what it said?
Deleted it. I said something about our draft, but no, I didn't quite catch it because
Brandon, post it in the regular spot.
If you drop it in the chat, Brandon, we'll go ahead and read your comment. But thank you so much.
Yes, he
appreciate that $8 holler.
Yeah, an $8 holler, which I don't know if it went through on my side here. It did not go through.
I was gonna say I'm not really sure.
Yeah, when the message was retracted, it goes back. Yeah, that sucks. But it did go through, so he's on the board.
As in, on the screen, I should.
Yeah, but it didn't go through as far as the stream boss. Man, Jeremy Bramlett saved like 12, 13 points on that stream boss today. So appreciate you, Mr. Brandon J. Go Cowboys. I'm going to say that's what you said. Go Cowboys.
Always go Cowboys.
So what about the free agent top linebackers right now and how well they prevented separation? Now, remember, separation, you don't want linebackers allowing a lot of separation because then they're going to get burned by tight ends and slot receivers.
Yep.
So which are the best, guys? When you break it down by man, zone, and overall separation, when you look at linebacker, it's a little bit, linebacker coverage is tricky, because it's not really 100% of their representation of how they played last year. But let's just take a quick look. Patrick Queen. All right. He was in the 90s across the board in man, in zone, and overall. I'm going to go just overall, but we can break it down. Overall, he was at the 98.63% of the time was when he locked his guys down. You cannot throw against Patrick Queen at linebacker. Terrell Dodson, also out there and available, 94% of the time locking guys down. Anthony Walker Jr. from the Browns available, 93% of the time in coverage, locking down his guy. Blake Cashman, who I think re-signed with the Texans, or is going to, 83% of the time in coverage. He's very good. Cody Barton, the Commanders, 82% of the time he's covering and not allowing separation. Tiki Taki from the Browns, 80%. Jordan Brooks from Seattle, which I really like, but he's more of a run stopper. Jordan Brooks, he covered 76.71% of the time. He does not allow much separation at all. Azeez Al-Shaair, which we really like as well, a cheaper option with the Cowboys at linebacker. He's very good at stopping the run, fantastic, but he's got 71.23% of the time. 71% of the time, he does not let separation in coverage. So that's good to see. Bobby Wagner, older, most tackles in the league, Pro Bowler. He's in the green still. 65.7% of the time does not let separation happen. He's good in coverage, not great. So that's what I'm trying. So you guys understand that we got a couple of really great coverage guys here, but not of any positions that we need when it comes to off-ball linebacker. The first guys that are off-ball linebackers that are really good run stoppers that are available, Jordan Brooks, Azeez Al-Shaair, Bobby Wagner. Those are the kind of guys we want to look at. Now, the guys you might not want to look at in coverage, when you get to the 50 percentile and less, when it's half the time they're getting separation against you, then that's not good anymore. So Zach Cunningham from the Eagles, stay away from him. Lavonte David, to me, he's a great run stopper, but he's not there for the pass coverage. 47.9% of the time he is, allowing or not allowing separation. So more than half the time he's allowing too much separation. Josie Jewell from the Broncos, 43% of the time in coverage he's good. Nicholas Morrow from the Eagles, 36%. Devin White, another guy I really like for stopping the run, but in coverage he's a 31% of the time in good coverage. That's not good. So again, I don't really need him for coverage though, but I just want to give you guys a viewpoint. Yeah. If you want the coverage and the run stop, you got to look at Jordan Brooks, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Bobby Wagner, because guys like Lavonte David, guys like Devin White, guys like Kenneth Murray Jr., guys like Josie Jewell, they're not very good in coverage, or at least not allowing separation. Denzel Perryman, I know some of you guys like him a lot. Horrible in coverage. 23% of the time he was in good coverage. So 3 out of 4 plays, he's allowing separation. Oren Burks, another guy that's out there. People talk about him. Also in the same range there, 27% of the time in coverage. Frankie Louvu, I love this guy for pass rushing, for run stopping, but when it comes to coverage, he's the second worst available free agent. So you don't want Frankie Louvu in coverage. 16.44% of the time, he did not allow separation. That is not good, obviously. Jordan Hicks, who's a low-budget piece for me in my mind, a run stopper only in coverage 10% of the time, without not allowing separation. So you don't want if you get Louvu or Hicks, Perryman, Devin White, or Lavonte David, Josie Jewell, you get any of these guys I just mentioned right now, you better not see them in coverage very often. You just cannot see them in coverage very often. But if you bring in guys like, again, and I'm not going to go with a Patrick Queen because they're not going to afford him, but you bring in guys that are in above average areas of coverage, like Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, both from Seattle, and Azeez Al-Shaair from the Titans. Any of those three guys give you the run stop you need, plus the pass coverage that's above average. And that's what you want from a fucking middle linebacker, from an off-ball linebacker. Micah, he'll be playing a little off-ball. He'll be on the outside linebacker standing up, and he'll be blitzing, and he'll also be an edge rusher at times. So he'll be all over the field in Zimmer's defense. To me, though, one of the biggest things we gotta get this year is someone to be able to play that off-ball tack, like the guy who makes the tackles and helps stop the run linebacker. That's not Micah. That's not anybody we have on this team right now. That's not Damone Clark. It's not Marquise Bell. It's not Overshown.
Yeah,
we got to bring a guy in.
Anybody on this team who fits that bill.
Yeah, we don't have anyone like that. We don't have anybody who runs short yardage, Derrick Henry. We don't have anybody that makes tackles for a living, like Bobby Wagner's, Jordan Brooks, and Azeez Al-Shaair's. All these guys are available out there and affordable. Let's go, Cowboys. Stop fucking around. Stop wasting your time. Let's get in there and get some shit done. And that's how you at least avoid. I'm not saying you're going to go all in, Cowboys, but let's not go all out. That's what it feels like we're doing right now. We're not going all in, but we're going all out. That's what it hurts the most here. So, I've spoken to the fullest an hour and a half of just chock full of information over the last 2 days of our Cowboys. I want to know what the family thinks. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the linebacker stuff. Are we kind of on the same?
Well, Steve, I said I'll take any of them that you just mentioned. I want Luvu.
And Luvu cannot cover, but he is a good. Everything else, he's perfect for the scheme of Zimmer.
Yeah, he said agreed, but MCF, we need help.
Again, all those guys, Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, Azeez Al-Shaair, fantastic run stoppers and damn good in coverage too. I would make a case for any of these guys. And again, those guys I talked about, Jordan Brooks and Wagner, they're about $10 million at most. Maybe a little under for Wagner, while you have someone like Azeez Al-Shaair, who's probably like $7 million at most. Let's go that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So we get the help. Frankie Luvu is going to be 11, 12 million. And he's not really good. He's not a good coverage guy. If you need him in coverage, he's gonna be weakness. Yeah. So again, if you want an all-around guy, you got other guys that can do coverage. So Luvu can work,
Garrett
but
is saying Eric Kendricks or Bobby Wagner.
Oh yeah, Kendricks without question. Without question, Eric Kendricks is the fit for the Cowboys. But again, I'm just looking at the coverage guys. He's not the best coverage guy. He's an average coverage middle linebacker. But like I said multiple times, we don't need coverage. We got other guys that do coverage linebacker stuff or can coverage as safety and do that same job. We need this guy attacking forward, the run, stopping the run, sideline to sideline, in between the tackles. You can get the best linebacker, but you need to get a damn good nose tackle. And right now we don't got one. So that's the next, we got to figure out the linebacker and that defensive tackle spot. Those are two pieces that are one. Let's just be honest, right? It's like 2-for-1 kind of deal. We stop the run, got to improve both those spots. I'm still waiting. So We'll see what happens.
So
let's wrap it up,
throwing
baby.
it out there, yeah.
Some shout outs and comments.
No, good, Seabass. Ganyaman said Sam will slam at middle linebacker.
Sam Williams? No, Sam Williams playing the defensive edge rusher spot. He'll be coming in there in the rotation for Micah or for DeMarcus Lawrence on the edge, in my opinion. So, without guys like Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong.
By the way, Orlando, the time hasn't changed yet. It's at 3 a.m. on the East Coast time.
It did change. It just changed over, 5 minutes ago. It went from 1:59 to 3 a.m. Yeah, baby.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, I was looking at the wrong clock.
Yeah. So it is officially 3 a.m. now if you're on the East Coast. And the other coasts, it's going to take a little longer to catch up, right? There's another hour
Not too much longer, right? But with that said, let me go ahead and do the final shout-outs here of the night. Thank you very much. Thomas Garrett said, I want some tackling machines. So, and thank you, by the way, Rolando Rodriguez. Yes, like I said, I was looking at the wrong clock there. So, Seabass, of course, rolling through. Much love. Ganja Man, thanks for being here as well. We have Real Shit 412 here to talk about, a real football team.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
Brandon James, thank you for dropping the love, even if your comment didn't get to show up. Big Daddy Boom, even with your interesting football takes. Asmodeus, much love, as always. We have SZ. Thanks for coming through. Jesus Saves, hello and hi, much love. Let me see who else is here. Let me make sure I give everybody their proper dues, proper shout-outs, right? Mahalo to Mark Hovsepi, and I know he's, on his way to sending us all that info he's gathered. Calvin Richard, much love. Ramon and Carolina Jones rolling through. We had Bad Intentions. James Hurd. Let me see. No, I'm trying to go back as far as I can. Right now, I don't see any. Oh, we see Fuego bringing the heat. Texas Twister, thanks for rolling with us. Chappelle Hannon. Let me see. Brandon J. I think that's as far back as I can go right now. So, with that said.
Hey, guys. I got a big shout out to those that dropped the love from above tonight. And, I'd say the last 2 nights. Let's be honest here. The family like Jason, Renfro, Sco971, Harley Dad, Skeptical Fan, Muck Lovin', Traveling Fools, Dwayne Broussard, Calvin Richard, Brandon J., and of course Marco Sepien.
Woo.
Much love to all you guys. Cannot do this without you. We just announced, we just read out the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King McLovin with a 3 and 4 week streak on those boards. Jeremy Bramlett, the Brand Man, 57 points in the Stream Boss, and the Gifting Champion. Back to back, like our 90s Cowboys, Skeptical Fan. The new leaders, though, Jeremy Bramlett, the Brand Man's got 3 out of the 4 boards. Got the gifting membership side of things, which he dropped 10. That's the first time we ever had someone drop 10 at once. He's got, of course, a Stream Boss. And he's got the overall lead, even over Muck Lovin' with basically tonight at After Dark and tomorrow night here in MCF. And that's it. We'll see who wins that overall board. McLovin's getting closer, but he's not there yet at Jeremy Bramlett's numbers as of this moment. We'll see if that streak continues tomorrow night here at MCF. And, of course, the only part that is not leading in when it comes to Jeremy Bramlett is the Cash App side, where McLovin is still in first place. So, again, appreciate everybody who's dropped the love, who's repping the boards, who's going to rep the boards on Monday as we, kind of give the final chances for everybody to get in there and get in a way, an extra raffle entry for the winners here for our monthly jersey raffle coming up at the end of March. On that note, though, baby, why don't you let everybody know why we do this thing here every single day and pretty much every single day and night for almost 7 years on My Cowboys Family.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Hell yeah, guys. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. On this channel, we rep, you see it, that star over everything. And guys, again, almost 7 years. It's going to be 7 years July 1st here on YouTube, here on My Cowboys Family. Never, ever forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, say it with us. Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6. You see it on my shirt. And beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. All night. Yes, After Dark. Real shit. And everybody else who spoke in the chat. I know Seabass hangs out there as well. A lot of other guys as well. We'll see you over there shortly. We got a special guest, Wendy, from the Howard Stern Show. So, we'll have some fun over there for a little bit. It should be a shorter, it's not going to be a 5-hour stream tonight. But we'll have some fun over there shortly, guys. So join us in about half an hour on MCF After Dark if you are awake. Of course, that's why it's After Dark. It's a one-time viewing stuff over there only. So you got to be part of it. It's got to be live. You can't rewind and you can't rewatch. But anyways, guys, thank you for your drops of knowledge in the chat. Thank you guys for your drops of love from above, whether it's through the Cash App, PayPal side, whether it's gifting memberships, whether it's getting into the membership or super chats, or whatever it is. Cannot do this without your love and support on the nightly. So truly appreciate you guys. On that note, my love, before we can officially clock out and drop out for the night, relock and reload for our finale show tomorrow. And we'll talk more about Michael Gallup, I'm sure, tomorrow. Baby, let them know what we got to do before we officially drop out of here for the night.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat has been dropped. And it's a wrap right here, My Cowboys Family, guys. Yes, another wrap here at MCF at My Cowboys Family. With that news, with the info, with the updates. Cannot do this without your help, baby. Cannot do it without the help and the comments from the chat and the love from you guys from above. Thank you all. As you know, yes, Ferguson taking shots fired back at Dalton Schultz. Distractions, he's handling them. We got Zach Martin restructured by the Joneses and opening up some money. Now we're under the cap finally, but we need more money. There's a lot more money to be made to open up here, as we discussed here tonight and every night here in MCF. Jerry knows what he's doing as he gets his comp picks. A couple extra spots there in the 5th, the 6th, and extra 2 picks there. Plus, you never know about Dalvin Cook. We shall see. Big question mark. We'll have to wait and see on that. Here in MCF, we're calling it a night, and tomorrow we're calling it a full week. Never forget, here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house, even the haters. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like button right now. It helps the analytics for us. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Be part of the family here. You know what to do. And, of course, move that notification bell to all videos so you know exactly when we're going to go live on the nightly. You got Twitter and X at MyCowboysFamily and all social media. You got Discord. You got everything you want to know in the description down below. If you're watching a replay, comment your thoughts on what we said tonight. Thank you all. Have a safe night. Great rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Wrap this up. And we'll see you after dark right now if you're coming over there. Much love to all. Peace out. Good night. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.